What's up, y'all? Scott here. Today we are out on the mountain bike trail again. We're shooting with Gavin McLean, a new rider that I've been working with, and we're just going to put together an edit for fun today, basically. We're starting out with an easy shot just to start getting used to working with each other. I've got a slider set up here, and I'm going to do a slow push-in shot as he passes over this bridge behind. And this will either use as an establishing shot in the video or potentially as a closer. So there's nothing particularly fancy about the shot, but showing off the environment, trying to help the viewer position themselves in the scene, and just add a little bit of movement with a slow push in with the slider. Okay, ready? Oh, the slider was a little crooked there. Sometimes it's better than a gimbal too. You know, with the gimbal, you get the movement in all different directions, and so sometimes having something that is just really static gives you a nicer look. So with this shot, what I'm kind of trying to do is create a bit of a frame. So I've actually positioned this fern very specifically so that it's sort of filling in the top of the frame here. And as I push past it, it creates some interest. And so we've got kind of ferns enveloping the zone that he's passing through. I sort of wish that tree wasn't there, but I think for this shot, it's okay. It's not important that we see everything about his riding. It's more just like positioning him in this environment. I think that does what we need. We've got a shot set up here, just catching this berm that he's going to go through after the bridge, shooting in 120 frames a second. Got it on the slider again just because I brought the slider, might as well use it. And I'm just going to do a slow push in as he's kicking up some dirt here, and hopefully my lens does not get damaged. Insurance, get it. I could have moved the slider a little bit quicker. The angle's pretty cool though. Pull away could actually be kind of cool. My issue was I can see the slider in the shot with the angle that I'm at, right, so I only have so much range of movement. Let's do one more while we're here. I'm just gonna maybe slightly adjust the angle.
I need to ride out further, is that fine? Right,
if you could ride a bit further, that'd be good, yeah.
Good.
You got a good spray that time.
It's not really that tarnished, so
you gotta put some battle scars.
Yeah, they can see you're actually working.
It's a cool shot. The distance that I'm getting with the slider is not as much as I want. I'm inclined just to throw it on the gimbal and do it one more time.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of cool that you got this sort of...
Yeah, it does work, hey?
Yeah, it's nice. Can you hit that next sort of bermy thing with a little bit more flare?
Yep.
I'm just going to switch over to the gimbal for this shot. I want a little bit more movement as he's approaching the turn. It's just not quite enough with the slider. You end up seeing the slider rails in the previous shot. So the gimbal's not going to be as stable feeling, but because it's at 120 frames a second, it's probably not going to even be that noticeable if I don't have a perfect straight line. And so the gimbal will do this job well.
It'll feel...
Oh yeah, that shot was way better.
That works?
That was worth it. We'll cut it before you even hit that corner. I don't want to do a long lens shot of this. Since it's not like a gigantic jump,
No.
It might be better to like I'll go over in the bushes over there and put the telephoto on.
Yep.
Might look pretty sweet. This could maybe work. How high do you think you'll get? Bottom of your wheel or your center of your torso?
Really low. It's fast. It's just like a scrub.
Whenever I'm shooting in the forest, I'm always trying to find frames to shoot in, basically. So using trees or using ferns, moss, rocks, whatever. Just trying to create something that's sort of centering that focus in on the rider or the subject that I'm shooting. So right now I've got a telephoto lens on. I've got the 70-200 with the 1.4 teleconverter on here. With the Micro Four Thirds, this is somewhere around a 400 millimeter. And I'm trying to find an angle of this jump over here that gives me a really clear vantage point. Doesn't obscure Gavin as he's hitting the jump, but creates some nice framing around that. So it's kind of a matter of just putting the lens on, walking around, trying to find that clear line of sight. We've got some dead trees that are blocking our view here, which isn't really working for us. So gonna keep moving around, see what I can find that might work better. That did not work out. I was trying to find an angle that made this jump look good, but it's just not a big enough jump to shoot a telephoto shot of. So we're going with a wide angle, got the camera on the gimbal again, and we're just trying to capture the jump as well as this nice curve that comes in afterwards. So it's just got some nice movement, and we're hoping that Gavin's gonna hit this with a good amount of speed, be able to carry that speed through just to make him look as awesome as possible. Got the gimbal now on the tripod. I don't have my monopod with me, so we're just going to use the tripod for this. But it's going to allow me to do more movement without having to move my feet so much because we're getting a little bit of camera shake, just trying to step over this rubble here. Gavin's going to switch the way he's riding a little bit to just change the direction that he's shifting his bike, and that's hopefully going to just look a little bit more stylish and link the whole section of the trail together in a smoother way.
Another tech.
I'm going to get a wide shot here of the jump. This is going to cut into the previous shot that I just grabbed. Basic idea is going to be following the edge of this berm, kind of using the moss to add some foreground interest, and we've got a wide angle so we're going to be able to see his whole jump as he passes through. We're going to do one more take of this in slow-mo just so I've got a few options in post. Not sure which one is going to work best. I think I shot that first one way better. I did it too early, I think. I'll call that one good. That's pretty sweet. That's stylish. We're grabbing a shot here of Gavin just kind of dipping his nose on this rock, and I'm just going to get it from a few different angles, and they're just going to be quick, fast cuts, and so none of them have to be like a long run or anything like that. I'm going to grab a wide and then probably one more just to link together in a three-piece sequence. A little bit shaky. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
It's one of those things it's either like kind of sloppy and you're kind of a hack, or it looks sick and you're like, okay, that's cool.
Okay, so it's day 2 of this shoot. Today we're working on cable cams, putting this setup to use and just learning the quirks of the setup. Right now we've got the first line set up here. We had to do some minor adjustment of where a few branches were, but we're able to get a pretty clean view. And we're trying to get a shot where the camera's gonna track alongside the rider initially with just trees, and then the rider will come into that frame. And we'll see if this works without actually having a wireless monitor or remote control, but it's worth trying. It's going to be fun to see how this goes. So this will be the first run down to see if this line is going to work or if we have to make any adjustments. All right. Okay, sending. So that was not fast enough. So we've got the cart going down. It's seeming like it might work. We're adding more weight now with the camera. I'm going to carry it up with a leash, learn my lesson from my last cable cam experience where I clipped a branch. We're just going to see if this walks through without hitting anything. If it hits something, we're probably going to have to set this line up on another day where we have a higher ladder because we just can't get any higher on the upper end. And we actually might need that height to get the speed that we need. So that's the trick with cable cams, is figuring out an angle that actually allows you to get the speed from gravity to allow the camera to keep up with the rider. So we'll take this up and see what it's looking like. All right. So the cable setup we were just working on did not work out today. We ended up having it hanging too low so that the camera was actually dragging on the ground. And then as we were messing with it a little bit, we actually had some tension loss and the camera almost hit the ground. So we decided to call that one for today. We're gonna get a little bit more equipment just to strengthen up the actual connection points and try that one again, but we at least have the line now, which is great. And so we're gonna scout another line here. We're at a little bit of a little jump section, and we've got a pretty good section of trees that we think will work for a cable. We're gonna point back at the rider and basically lead the rider as they're coming through the jumps. We're gonna fly the drone first though, and use this as a tool to figure out if this line actually looks good before we go through all the work of getting a cable 16 feet up in the air and doing all the work that comes with rigging it. So we're gonna take the drone up, try to get a few shots, and then probably call it a day. If that low one even would be good. Nice, beauty.
Yeah.
I'll do. This is set up for a way better photo now. It's like a nice window.
Yeah.
tree. It's gonna be hard to actually do this because of the angle. So when I'm flying a drone in the forest, I have the sensors turned off so that it's not freaking out about all the trees, but it's kind of helpful to have a direct line of sight. So I'm flying straight backwards towards me, and it just helps you see that if you're gonna crash into anything and stuff like that. If you're to the side of the drone, it's really difficult. So it's still kind of scary to fly it in this tight quarters here, but we're gonna give it a go. Worst case scenario, I crash my drone. That might have worked. So that's the end of day 2. We didn't actually get a lot of footage in the bag today, but we figured out a bunch of different cable cam lines, and we're probably actually on pause for the next little while. We've got some other stuff going on, so we might actually have to reassess this video and shoot it in more light conditions as summer comes in. We might have to go for an early morning or a late evening shoot. But the good part of all this is we figured out some lines, we've started working together, understand a little bit about how each other works, how they ride, how I shoot, all those sorts of things. And so when we get back out here next time and start shooting again, we'll be able to just advance that much faster. So a big part of doing this sort of work is just collaborating with people, getting to know them better, and understanding how you work together. So until the next video, get out there, make something beautiful, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.